We're here today to discuss the critical issue of public safety in Portland, and in particular, to learn more about several of the Portland Police Bureau's initiatives and how PPB is working to make Portland safer for all of us.
All right. Good morning, Lieutenant Staples and myself, Sergeant Brad Netting, our president from East Precinct, to talk about stolen vehicles and stolen vehicle operations that have been being conducted at East Precinct. There's been 31 SVOs conducted in the last year and a half, a little bit more. During that time frame, there's been 287 stolen vehicles recovered, 382 arrests have been made, 406 warrants have been serviced, and 53 illegally possessed firearms have been recovered. The stolen vehicle operations started utilizing evidence-based practice back in March of 2022. How we incorporated that into our stolen vehicle operations is through utilizing officers' knowledge and trying to get a further understanding of how they understand and look at a vehicle's physical characteristics and driving behavior to determine that it's a stolen vehicle as it's active in the community. Understanding our limitations, we reached out to a qualified area representative in our community at the Night Cancer Institute. Our key performance indicator is our ratios of how many stolen vehicles we're recovering or locating that are active in our community for the number of stops that are being conducted on these missions. We're currently sitting at 1 stolen vehicle recovered for every 4 stops or encounters for those 31 missions. We can also put it out in a trend line, and you'll see on the left side of the screen, 3/16 of 2022 is when we first utilized evidence-based practices in this data collection process. And on the right side of the screen, you can see that trend line going downward, which is actually good because this is our stops and our stolen vehicle ratio.
Can you remind us of the cost associated with this? Does anyone have that off the top of their head?
So an average mission costs about $20,000 in overtime. It's all overtime related.
Okay. So I'd just like to make it short by asking the mayor's office to maybe sketch out a proposal on what it would take to expand this pilot project citywide.
Yeah, you bet, Commissioner Maps. We can do that. In fact, Stephanie, I think we may have already done that. Is that accurate?
That is absolutely, I think, in the vision going forward.
I'm Christy Butcher. I am the sergeant of the trafficking unit. Our current human trafficking team consists of 2 detectives and 3 full-time officers, and we're responsible for long-term investigations throughout the city, as well as conducting monthly missions. So throughout our work, we were seeing a ton of increase in activities. It turned very blatant. It wasn't uncommon to drive through the Blade and see upwards of 20 women out walking. We're not arresting women for the crime of prostitution. If they're committing other crimes, especially violent crimes, we'll arrest them on those. And like I said before, that's because through our work, we really believe that most of the women out there walking are doing it because someone else is making them do it. We target the buyers and the traffickers. So we're going after the people who are creating this high demand and the people who are doing the harm to others. But at the end of the day, the problems were because the women were out on the street. So we met to brainstorm with the DA, who's been awesome on this project, and met with all the commanders from the precincts. The next key meeting was to meet with businesses in the area who were directly impacted by this sort of criminal activity. They were all very eager to help. We contacted 256 people in the area. We towed a lot of cars. We seized some illegally possessed firearms, 12 of them. We made over 50 arrests, and half of those arrests were sex buyers. The other key stat to point out here was we contacted over 60 sex providers, and about a third of the women that we contacted actually engaged with advocates on scene. We're a small unit, so conducting 2 missions a week is not sustainable for this unit, but continuing to work with the precincts to increase that education on how to do this work and how to do it effectively.
Where do you take someone if they are really telling us that they're ready for help?
This is where we rely on our advocates to partner with community organizations. And so there's a lot of, organizations out there that provide advocacy. They'll provide mental health, get housing, either short-term, hopefully transition to long-term, provide job training. A lot of these women were trafficked since the age of 12 to 15. And so they've never really had jobs. So there's a lot of keys that go to that success, but we couldn't do it without our community partners. That's for sure.
No, we can. I think formalizing those partnerships and having longitudinal data that would be connected to their results would be really helpful for decision makers like us that, again, show us the results. We'll show you the money. And so I look forward to hearing more about that.
I'm Commander Dobson with Central Precinct. The bike squad itself consists of 4 officers and a sergeant. They're one of the proactive units of Central Precinct, and they work closely with our public and private partners, such as Street Services Coordination Center, as well as Portland Clean and Safe, and many, many other private security companies and businesses to reduce crime and the fear of crime. The bike's main focus is on livability issues. Since May of this year, the bike squad has spent a good portion of their focus on open air drug use in the downtown area. They have issued over 500 Measure 110 citations and have provided the card you see on the right of the screen to everyone that they issue a citation to. Thus far, our 6 unified missions in the downtown area that have been conducted on different days and different hours have netted us, as you can see, 32 arrests of people dealing fentanyl. 26 additional people have been arrested for other charges and warrants. 8 guns have been seized, and almost 1.5 kilos of fentanyl have been taken off the streets in downtown. If I can stress again, that was just 6 days of work. The challenge that we really have is we need more help from the county in public health. We need more off-ramps. We need folks to be able to go to more addiction recovery. And we need more off-ramps there. And we're working with the county and trying to identify some of those outreach workers that we can work with to get some of those folks off the street.
In regards to the county and the outreach, we really need to hold them accountable. We're trying to identify outreach workers that actually join us in our efforts. And of course, there's resistance from some groups because they don't even want to be seen or partner with the police. These are agencies that are getting funding from the county and from the state to do this outreach work. And even if they don't want to be seen associated with the police, we've asked for resources to be dispersed in the same areas we're working, maybe in the hours that we're working.
Thanks for that. I'm Rob Simon from North Precinct. With me is the Neighborhood Response Team, Sergeant Jorge Mendoza with me. We're going to talk about retail theft, specifically in North Precinct. We've done about 20 missions since March of this year. During the time we've done these missions, we made well over 180 arrests. Those charges range from theft, identity theft, UMV, firearms, the whole spectrum on warrants and wanted persons, including person crimes, shooting suspects, burglars, etc. Our focus hasn't been on the person stealing the sandwich from Fred Meyer's. We're more focused on people dealing the giant conglomerate of stuff or the big ticket items running at a Dick's Sporting Goods or Home Depot. Those kind of things have been our focus. So real quick on costs. I mean, the efforts cost a lot of money. North Precinct is really short staffed currently. We kind of use a combination of our NERT team. We do short some districts at times to staff these missions, and we use overtime. And overtime is at a premium. Our overtime funds kind of ebb and flow based on how things come from the city and how we spend our money. And then sometimes we'll be out of money to pay for these missions, and it'll be a significant impact to the businesses.
I think we're putting too much on the small businesses to fill out the forms, and then it goes into what they say. It just takes a long time for them to hear anything or to get any relief. And we're losing small businesses, as you know, daily, as you can see with all the empty storefronts.
A lot of times with our smaller retail stores, the issue we come up with is a lack of reporting. They don't want to take the time to make the reports. So a lot of times we don't get the data that focuses on what's happening at their stores. We hear about it anecdotally, but then we find that there's no reports in our system that they actually were the victims of a crime.
We need to encourage reporting.
A lot of our small businesses are not filling out reports because insurance stopped providing any resources to them. So that's like how grim this issue is right now.
All right, I'm Lieutenant Chris Burley, and I work in our behavioral health unit, along with 5 behavioral health response team officers, 5 behavioral health response team licensed clinicians, 1 crisis intervention training coordinating officer, service coordination team officer, an analyst, admin support specialist, SCT, and which is our service coordination team, a mental health crisis responder 2 manager. And then we also currently have in the Police Bureau 166 enhanced crisis intervention trained certified officers. People that have been contacted by the behavioral health response teams we've seen a 40% reduction in their law enforcement contacts 1 year in comparison to 1 year prior to the BHRT contact to post. And then the service coordination team, graduates of the program have seen an 82% reduction in arrests post-completion.
Current data, we have 124 vacancies in the Bureau. And those vacancies consist of 46 professional staff and 78 sworn staff. Our current authorized strength for sworn is 882. So for the last 3 years, a total of 219 sworn hires. At the same time, we lost people. So 140 members retired during that time frame, and 157 resigned prior to their retirement date. So our website visits are up. You can see here July, August, September, up into up around 20,000 visits. That coincides with an increase in applications, which is this blue line here. We're up to around over 120 applications a month.
Overall reported crime is down 11% as of October 1st of this year compared to the same time of last year. Just a few numbers to throw out. I mean, homicides down 16%, overall person crime 6%, overall property crime 12%, motor vehicle 23%, robbery down 14%. So there's a lot of things that are trending in the right direction, as the mayor said.